We're joined by our therapist friend, Dr. Jonathan Eric Carroll, to discuss an important topic. We hear a lot of traction and talk about loneliness and the problem that loneliness is. What say you, sir, about loneliness as a problem?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you, Angie. I think that we have pathologized loneliness, actually. I think we should actually ask, what if loneliness is actually a kind of internal compass pointing us toward what we need most? Loneliness is not a disorder to cure, it's information. Like physical pain signals tissue damage, loneliness signals disconnection from meaning or purpose or authentic community.
So how do we then emotionally and spiritually and mentally rise from that sort of dark cloud of loneliness and take some affirmative action for ourselves and our own lives and spirits?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first things first, it's just good to recognize it, that loneliness is our inner world's way of saying this isn't it, whatever this is, and that we should listen to our lives. We're not designed for shallow connections in a deep connection world. And sometimes loneliness is the price of refusing to settle for less than authentic relationships. So when you listen to loneliness like you would pain through those kind of three filters, we can reframe the question, what if we're not looking to fix something here, which assumes loneliness is a problem, but what if we listen to it instead? So first of all, we have to decode the message. What am I lonely for? What or for whom am I lonely? Not just connection, maybe what kind? Am I looking for intellectual intimacy, creative collaboration, spiritual communion, physical presence, just to try to figure out what to diagnose, in a sense, what is it that I'm lonely for? And then to address the root, am I in relationships that are too superficial? Am I looking for something deeper, something more authentic? Have I lost a sense of meaning? What would it look like for me to reconnect with a purpose or with my core values? Embracing the kind of philosophical piece to this existential piece of, what if I learn to be at home in my own presence? I can be in a room full of people and feel lonely. I can be completely by myself and feel completely at home. So it's not about being alone, it's about that connection. And if I'm connecting with myself in a real way, maybe that loneliness kind of can be dealt with in a healthy way too. And then finally, authenticity. We need to look at relationships as not being performative. Stop performing, start being ourselves, being honest, being vulnerable, and finding people with whom we can do that.
And I think just the moment you described about opening yourself up, trusting another person to see you and find value in you, that takes some courage as well. If you've really protected your identity, it takes some real guts to say, I'm going to open myself up to this.
Absolutely. Trust issues underlie loneliness in a very important way. We're lonely sometimes because we feel like we can't risk being truly known. And it's one of those odd things that the only antidote to mistrust is to trust. We have to throw ourselves back in there and recognize that vulnerability is not a weakness. It is our core strength. And sometimes, yes, we will get hurt. But I think then we have to step back and ask about, what were my expectations? Did I communicate those? Am I putting too much power or influence on someone else's reception of me versus can I be myself with another person regardless of what they do with that? Can I accept their choice and still be okay with myself? Which is probably a topic for a whole other morning's conversation, which we should have. But I do think that it is a struggle, but it doesn't have to be. We have to really learn to love and accept ourselves. And when we do that, we're less likely to distrust others because we know that at the end of the day, our person is we, ourselves, and we have ourselves. We've got this.
Jonathan, as always, I appreciate your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
And we'll have more local lifestyles for you right after this. Stay with us.